Welcome back to the series of Python tutorials. This is the second video, which I will be covering variables and data types. Okay, now what is a variable? A variable in programming is where we store a certain data type. So like we can store an integer, we can store a string, or we could store a list in this integer. For this video, we'll make an integer called foo. And for the variable foo, we'll put the integer 1 in here. And if we type foo, we get the number 1. So if we type in Python in the shell 1 plus 1, we'll get 2. If we type foo plus 1, we should also get 2, because in our variable foo, we have it stored as a 1. And then we add 1 to it, we should get 2. We can also store a string in foo. So for example, we type in foo, and anytime you want to declare a string in Python, you just put quotation marks and type whatever you want in there. So for the sake of this video, I'll just type in string. And then foo is string. And then if we type in foo, it becomes string. Now, what happens if we try to add a string to an integer? Let's see. If we type foo and we add 1, it cannot work because a string and an integer cannot concatenate together. They're not the same data type. If we want to fix this problem, we would type foo plus, in quotations, a 1. In this case here, what is different in the second case is that you are adding two strings together. So what should happen is the string and the 1 should concatenate together, which would make string 1. Okay, now what we have done here is we have shown that we can use this variable and add things to it. We can put strings together with it. But now we need to know how we can store our result in the variable. Because right now, if I type foo in again, I get string. It's not string 1. So in order to store our result from last time in the variable foo, we would type foo, and we would have an equal signs here to show that whatever is on the right side of the equal sign will now become the variable foo. So if I type foo and then I type foo plus quotations 1, it will show nothing now, but when we type foo, we should get string 1. As we show now that string 1 has now become foo. Now, what we can also do in Python is if we take multiple variables, for example, say the letter A, B, and C, if we want all of these variables to just be assigned to the number 1, what we can do is we can type A, B, C, and then between each we have an equal sign, and equals 1. Type enter. If we type A equals, just type A equals 1, B equals 1, C equals 1. So that's a cool little feature in Python. What we can also do is we can also assign multiple variables to different objects or different data types. So if we do A, if we type this time A, comma B, comma C equals to, say, oh shoot, my accident. A, comma B, comma C equals, say, A, we want to make it Jeremy, and then B, we want to say number 25, and then C, maybe we want to make the name like Albert or something. So then when we type A, we get Jeremy. We type B, we get 25, and we get C, we get Albert. So we assign multiple variables to different data types. And the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video is some things we can do with a string. So if we bring our foo back, what we can do in this string is we can take certain elements of the string. So for example, if I type in foo and then I put in square brackets 0, we will get the letter S. And how Python works with the numbering system is that the very first letter of a string it's always indexed at 0. It will index to 0 all the way until the length of the string minus 1. So if we look at string 1 right here, we see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe. Yeah, 7 characters in that string. And it indexes at 0, so that would mean the very last character would be index 6, because there are 7 characters, and I said that we index from 0 all the way to length minus 1. So I take the first character with foo 0, I can take the last character with foo 6, and if we try to take the whole length, which is 7, we would get an error. Indexing error, string index out of range. We can also index from a certain part of a character all the way to the end or all the way to the beginning of the string. So if I type in foo and I type in, say, 1, the first character, and then I put colon, this should give me the first character, which is T, or the character in the first position, which in this case is indexed at T, and all the way to the end of the string. So that would equal T ring 1. If we wanted to, say, take it from the beginning all the way until a certain point, we would type in colon, and then say you want to go till the very end, so you would do 6. And then you would get string. Okay, now if we store foo colon 6, which was string, in our variable foo, if we print foo, we should get string. And one last cool thing we can do with this is that when we store foo here, we have a string. If we do an arithmetic operator like multiply by 2, what would happen is we get, look at this, string, string. We get it twice. If we multiply by 2 again, we should get foo twice. Because in this case, I did not store it back into foo again, so if we keep multiplying by 2, we're going to get it twice each time. So just like what we did earlier, how we added quotation marks 1 to it, how we concatenated 2 strings together, you can also multiply a string by an integer to output this string a certain number of times. In this case, we outputted it twice. Okay, and that'll be the end of this video. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment below, and I'll try to respond as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching.